If you can, I've heard a lot of like hullabaloo, like just people talking about auditing on like the internet, and I just wanted to know like if you're able to talk about it,
Oh yeah,
um, what exactly is auditing? Like, can you give us like an actual definition and sort of what an overview of the process is like?
absolutely.
Mhm.
Well, so here's the thing. So the word itself,
Yeah.
audit, it just means you're listening. That the whole idea is that, and this kind of comes back to some of these fundamental principles of Scientology, that somebody is basically good, person is basically good. They're not basically evil. There are some philosophies of life that would contend that people are basically evil and you're trying to beat the goodness into them or something like that. Whereas it's the inverse of Scientology. You're assuming that they're basically good, and that there are reasons and things that have basically fallen back from their innate ability to make correct decisions, and to be able to be the best that they can be.
Mhm.
So that's the whole uh, uh, that's the view that you're looking at when you're looking at how you're approaching a person and improving them, right? You're trying to take away anything that would be blocking them from being good, from being better than they are presently in their estimation. So okay, so there's that. So with auditing, you've got it's a very private thing. It's just you and an auditor. It's done behind closed doors. There's not people, it's not a conference or something like that. It's definitely it's that, and the only person that is privy to what you say in an auditing session is your auditor, and those exact people who are supervising the progress of your case. You have somebody called a case supervisor who's basically trained as an auditor, but also trained to supervise cases and look for things that are going amiss and so forth, and to be able to direct an auditor to be able to do the right stuff as they go forward. So those are the only people who are looking at your stuff. Otherwise, they can't be all your worksheets and everything are written down in a folder, and they you can't subpoena that. You can't do it. It's all pre-subpoenaed and privileged. So people, because people need to be able to sit down in front of an auditor and say precisely what's on their mind, not something that they're skirting around the real thing that's on their mind or something like that. They need to be able to say legit what's going on. So that being said, so you've got an auditor and somebody who's being audited, and then with that you have a series of processes that are run. These are procedural things where the auditor is basically asking questions of the person who's being audited, and most of these ones in Scientology are done using the e-meter as well, which I don't know if you've read anything about or heard anything about, but it's basically a device where the auditor it is monitoring the person and is allowing the auditor who's trained to read this. It's basically just a needle that's moving around, but it's got specific patterns that the auditor is looking for that can help the auditor steer the person toward things that he's all wound up about, or things that he's totally feeling great about and shouldn't be taken up.
Mhm.
Because that's one thing that has been a problem in traditional counseling, but also in early Scientology as well, is that sometimes you can get people into a counseling session and they'll drone on and on about stuff that really isn't bugging them at all, and they are skirting around telling you about the thing that they really should be talking about.
Yeah.
And so that is the whole point of auditing, is to make those counseling sessions much more efficient and effective, so that you're addressing the right things, but you're not also, once you've addressed the right things, then you don't go and continue talking about something that's totally handled.
Yeah.
Once it's done, you want to know that it's done, so you don't overdo it and keep talking like, hey, good, I'm good with that. So because that is going to get the person wound up again. So there's that. So given that, there is a gradient approach which was designed over a long period of time to basically allow the person to handle specific bits of life, and it's arranged in a gradient because okay, I don't know how much you've read about Dianetics.
Yeah, I
So
know that's how I know a little bit, not a
okay,
lot.
cool. All right. Dianetics was the first science that Mr. Hubbard came up with. So
Yeah.
the whole idea being that you've got painful things that have occurred in your life that like you take somebody who's in a car accident, or grandma died, or whatever, whether it's emotionally or physically painful. These are these things that have occurred in the person's life that are making them behave illogically, right? You
Mm.
remove all that stuff. You basically make it so that those painful things are no longer affecting that person, and that person is going to act substantially more sane.
Yeah.
Okay. So Dianetics is an exact process to get rid of those painful pieces of the person's life, which in Dianetics are called engrams. So, and a person who has had all of that, and that painful part, this part of the person's mind, which is reacting to that pain. This is something in Dianetics which is called the reactive mind. Once you've eliminated everything that's in that reactive mind, that person is going to act extremely sanely. That state, when that person no longer has that reactive mind, is in Dianetics what's known as clear.
Yeah.
The person's clear. So that was the goal of Dianetics. That has always been the goal of Dianetics. What Mr. Hubbard found out, though, is that when you're trying to attack those painful parts in a person's life, a lot of times you have a person that's not necessarily even ready to confront some of this painful stuff in their life. Like you take somebody who just came back from war or something like that, right? PTSD sort of a thing, right? So maybe a person's not ready to sit down and tell about when they saw a comrade's leg blown off or something like that, right? So there'd be a gradient to approaching any of that. But let's just say you had something else. Let's say you had serious upsets that have been happening in a person's life that they don't want to talk about, when they got into a car accident when they were 6, because right now what's happening is they're about to be evicted, or what's happening right now is they just got divorced, or what's happening right now is they're about to get fired, or they're or whatever or they can't talk to anyone. They have a complete fear of talking to people, or whatever. You know what I mean? You have a series of other factors that's happening in present time right now to the person. That's what you're looking at when you're looking at that person, trying to attack their reactive mind and handle it for them when they've got all this other present time baggage,
Yeah.
emotional baggage, so to speak. It would be ineffective. You would never get done.
Mm.
So that's the whole point of that. And I don't know if you've heard much about Scientology having a bridge, which is a gradient scale by which you're approaching this. That's the whole point of that gradient scale, is so that you have a workable step by step. Like, good, let's handle this. Let's make it so that well, first off, let's make sure you're not currently on drugs, because you're not going to get anywhere in a counseling session if you're on drugs, or if you spent all of your college years smoking and drinking and trying every recreational substance you could. You're not going to get anywhere in a counseling session, because you're still going to be swirled up in all of that. So that's kind of the first step that people get handled, is to get that stuff so that's no longer affecting the body. It's the first step on the bridge. Then you have other things that you're going to be attacking piece by piece. Fix the reason why the person felt like he needed to take drugs in the first place. Make it so the person feels like he could get better. Fix his ability to communicate, his ability to deal with problems in his life, his ability to deal with upsets and the transgressions and things that he's done that he still feels super guilty about. Fix his past upsets and changes, his fixed ideas and so forth. And once you've kind of step by step bowled through those, which there's exact questions and processes and so forth for each one of those things. Each one of those has an exact technique to it. And once you're through all that, then they're like, good, now we can attack the reactive mind. Now that you're feeling fantastic about that, and you're ready to do some new stuff here. That's when the person's ready to handle the reactive mind. So that's the whole point of auditing. That's the whole point of it, is to gradiently be able to approach that at a level that the person can handle at that time, and all that supervised extremely closely, so that you make sure you're not leaving things leaving things dangling and unhandled. The guy still hasn't told you about the fact that he's, whatever, embezzling money at work or something like that. And he's not going to really be able to think about anything else if you don't actually pull that out of him. Like, okay, haven't been telling you, actually, I cheat on my taxes every year, currently cheating on them now. Like, you can't get anywhere unless, the guy's open and free and isn't encumbered by all that. So, so yeah, I hope that it's a long-winded answer. But yeah, it's, and a lot of the commands for that and the processes for that. I mean, that stuff's not secret. That's, if you went into a Scientology church and walked upstairs to the library in every church, and you can read through it and see how it's done. Anybody can learn it. It's not, it's definitely specific. It's like I said, there's 100,000 bazillion ways to do it wrong. And really an exact way that's been worked out to do it right. And it has, that was kind of the whole point of what L. Ron Hubbard was working through for several decades, really, was fixing the ways that it wasn't working. And, with some people it wouldn't work right, or some people got hung up on things, and you tried to do the process on this and it didn't work. So each one of these processes will even sometimes have, or in most cases have, a way to correct it when it went down. So they'll have a list of things that you're doing as a part of handling, let's just say, a person's, there's a whole grade, a whole piece of auditing, which is specifically to handle problems. Like, I don't know if you ever met somebody who everything's a problem, and you can tell them the exact solution to their problem. You could be like, you need to actually, your problem is you're all stressed out about class. You never study. You gotta, or something like that. And the guy's like, they're always full of problems, right? There's some people who just need problems. So the whole point of this is to just handle the person's need to have problems. If that process though goes off the rails and it's grinding and the person's not making progress or not happy about it, there's a specific set of things to correct that too. So each one of these processes has corrections that were built into it, so that there's really no way that anybody can get hung up besides not do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's that. I mean, the whole time I've been talking here, I've been looking at this. This is the whole thing right there. But yeah, that's the gist of auditing.
That's a lot.
Yeah. It's pretty substantial. And that's the thing too, is that on the internet, you want a fast answer for everything. Yeah. You want to like be immediately satiated. Like, what's the deal with Scientology? Well, it's about, give it to me in a sentence, and it's a good deal more than that. And so you kind of, I'm actually really glad that you're willing to sit through me talking you through all that, because it's not, there isn't a 1 second answer that would completely and utterly answer the question for you. You have to kind of, it's kind of like if you said, is communism bad? You'd go, okay, yes, no, yes, but
yeah,
yeah. So yeah. So it's there's a good bit to it.
Mm-hmm. Well, that was like a very heavy question. You answered it.
Your questions are good. You're when I was wondering what you were going to ask me about, and then you sent me your list of questions, like, she has thought. This is good. These are good questions.